Welcome back. With a mission to empower young women and girls to be strong, smart, and bold, organization Girls Inc. NYC hosts their annual Lifting Girls Up Gala. Joining me to discuss the gala and their efforts is April Williams, VP of Programs at Girls Inc. Thank you so much for joining us, April.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Now, could you tell me about your organization Girls Inc. of New York City and your upcoming gala?
Awesome. Yes, of course. Girls Inc. of New York City inspires all girls to be strong, smart, and bold by delivering life transforming programs to girls and young women throughout New York City. Through education and advocacy, we prepare girls to navigate gender, economic, and social barriers to advance to a more equitable world. This year, we are on track to serve nearly 10,000 girls across New York City, and our gala, Lifting Girls Up, is going to help us get there.
Now, I know for the gala you will be honoring a few women. Can you tell me about the women that you're honoring?
Of course, of course. We are honoring this year Tasunda Brown Duckett, who is the president and CEO of TIAA, Lala Anthony, actress, producer, and philanthropist, Beatrice Dixon, the founder and CEO of the Honeypot Company, and Janice Reels Ellick, who is the CEO of the Ellick Group. Each of these visionary women have elevated women's representation in top levels of leadership and have dedicated their careers to advancing the interests of women and girls. So we are so excited to have them be honored at this year's gala.
And I will definitely add that I think that is kind of like an amazing lineup of women. Your
For sure.
organization chooses women to honor based on the strides they took to break down barriers for other women. Can you just tell me a little bit more about that process?
Yes. The process is an organic one. Often we are already working in partnership and being supported by amazing women leaders whom we then decide to honor at the gala with our Strong, Smart, and Bold Leadership Award. And then other times, there are people in our community that recommend key women figures who are making a difference, and honoring them at the gala is really just the start of the fruitful partnership for us, which is the case with Beatrice Dixon in the Honey Pie.
Now, I know all of those women actually are in positions of power, and I'm sure that even the women who aren't being honored, but just in the room, kind of hold this air or just have this power with them. Can you just tell us what it's like? Of course, it's inspirational, but what it's like navigating having that much power and that much confidence as a woman?
Yeah, it is. I will say it is one that I do not take lightly. I have had an amazing village of women that have supported me. I am born and raised in the Bronx, New York, South Bronx specifically. And the Bronx has been a part of raising this, amazing leader. And so I think as a woman of color, as a leader, there's so much that we bring to spaces that we're carrying. We're carrying the work and hearts and all of the goals and dreams of our ancestors that got us here. And then just to sort of be that representation in the communities that we're serving. I take that as a high honor that I am able to specifically lead in a community that gave so much to me, to give back to girls that look like me and that will be able to see themselves in me. It's something that I am so honored by.
Now, I love that you bring up just girls who look like you and girls from certain communities. I think that oftentimes when we're talking about just women empowerment or girl empowerment, it can be easy for girls from certain communities to feel invisible. So I think it's amazing that you kind of highlight them. Can you just explain a little bit further why it's so important to provide continuous support to women and girls of these communities?
Yes, for sure. Right. What we know for sure is that when we keep adolescent girls happy, healthy, safe, and in school, and really give them the skills to have a say in their own lives, to create their own narratives, they have a path to a healthy, productive adulthood. They are better able to gain knowledge and have more earning power. Society as a whole benefits. And so it's imperative that we continue to invest in quality programs that empower girls to speak up and make informed decisions that not only impact them, but their families and communities.
I also think it's super important because I know for other girls of other communities, they may have outlets like school and other things that can help strengthen their identity as young women. And I think that sometimes in low income communities, those outlets sometimes don't always have the funding or it just doesn't have what they need to help those girls be better. So I appreciate organizations like your own kind of filling in those gaps. For this year's gala, there will be a focus on education. Can you explain why Girls Inc. wanted to go with that theme for this year?
Yes, this gala is so exciting to me this year because this year specifically, we chose to combine our college shower, which is historically our send off celebration for our college bound high school seniors. And this year, we're combining it with the gala because we not only wanted to celebrate the students on a bigger stage, but we also wanted to recenter the gala as a mission focused event, right? Education, we know, is fundamental and key to success for so many girls. And yet, over the pandemic, we have faced so many hurdles and setbacks on that front. And so it's critical that we focus on getting young people's education, which includes their social emotional development, back on track. And Girls Inc. of New York City is working hard to do just that.
What do you hope women and girls learn from this gala?
Yeah, we hope that they learn about the amazing strides that Girls Inc. of New York City is taking to transform the lives of so many girls living in poverty. For example, Her Future, which is a financial literacy program that is funded by Google, will really transform girls' relationship with money by strengthening their financial capabilities through experiential education and exciting new technology. And then we also have Equality Can't Wait, which is funded by Melinda Gates and Mackenzie Scott, and that will address the inequality in the workplace, particularly the absence of women of color in positions of influence and leadership. Additionally, we really hope that all the attendees will be inspired not only by the honorees, but by the student graduates, and know that despite all of the obstacles and setbacks that we, ourselves and the girls have faced over these last couple of years, that change is happening. We see the change. And Girls Inc. of New York City and our partners are a big part of driving that change.
Now, what I love about what you're telling me is that you also focus on the real life consequences that face women, because I think sometimes organizations tend to just only look at the positive, but these things don't exist within a vacuum, right? So we have to kind of address these things for these young girls. How do you address, or how do you speak to young women and girls about societal issues that they may be facing?
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things that I love about Girls Inc. is that it's based on real experience, and we really work to have dialogue with girls, right, and have real conversation about topics and issues that are relevant to them, that are affecting them daily. And so, a couple of those programs, just to name a few, are Mind Body Matters, which is incredibly amazing. It is a program that is focused on mental health, and it's specifically for girls of color. We have launched that in more than 30 schools across New York City, really focusing on helping girls identify strategies that will really allow for them to better cope with day-to-day stressors such as anxiety, feelings of depression, a lot of those things which they felt during the pandemic. We also have our data analytics program called Generation Giga Girl that really teaches girls about the importance of data using social justice or through a social justice lens. We have our financial literacy program, which I mentioned earlier, that transforms our girls' relationship with money. And then, of course, we have our Project Reach program, which focuses on college retention and persistence. All of our programs are facilitated not only during the school day, but after school. The after school setting, we know, allows for the girls to have more space to really delve into topics and things that are of interest to them. And then in a lot of these cases, our girls are also able to receive credit for participating in these courses, which is an added bonus.
Well, I want to touch on the part where you talked about mental health, because I think that is so important. And I know for communities of color, and I guess from my own experience, Black communities, that can be a difficult topic. Why would you say it's so important to kind of start young in teaching young Black women about mental health at this point in their lives?
Yeah, it's so important because mental health, as we know, has been at the forefront of many conversations prior to the pandemic. But once we got into the pandemic, we saw many of our girls, specifically girls of color, dealing with social isolation on such a massive level. The rates of suicide we know were increasing, and so starting to talk to our girls about what were some of those challenges that they were facing. I think a lot of times we feel like we wait until we're in adulthood, and being able to talk to young people earlier about identifying and being able to talk about what their emotions are or how they're feeling, and really help them to come up with some of those strategies. So it's been amazing to see our girls doing things like art therapy, guided meditation, yoga, all of those things that are going to just help them be better, right? We know if you are better mentally, it just makes you a much more productive person once you are in the working world.
Now, the gala is happening later tonight. Can you just explain what you're most excited or most looking forward to?
Yes, I'm so excited to see our college or our girls that are preparing to go to college. We are honoring 25 amazing high school seniors this evening. And, we have not seen so many people, so many of our partners in more than 2 years in person. And so to be able to celebrate our girls at such, a magnitude is going to be so amazing. So I'm excited to see our girls tonight who are being honored and celebrated for their amazing accomplishments this year.
How can viewers watching support the efforts of Girls Inc. of New York?
On our website, of course, girlsincnyc.org, viewers can support our programs. They can also donate, subscribing to our newsletter. We're also always looking for volunteers in our schools. And you can also follow us on social media through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
All right, April, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be right back with more Open BxRx Tuesday.